Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Listen, it's still all about the manager situation at the moment. This is an unusual situation for Transfer Daily because never in the time since the show started 5 years ago have we been talking about managers incoming. You know what I mean? Because we've always had Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger's always been in charge. And of course, we're in a situation now where we don't even have a manager. And it's very unique here. And who is that manager going to be? The hot favourite we know, of course, is Mikel Arteta. Spoken about it over the previous days, about my kind of misgivings about it. I've spoken to loads and loads of fans, read loads and loads of comments from fans, and I have to say that fans are very underwhelmed. And whilst I do think that if he does come in, fans are definitely going to back him, because that's the nature of Arsenal fans. We are going to back the new manager and give him a chance. However, nobody that I've spoken to is really excited about it. You know, I was out last night with a friend of mine and, you know, I was chatting to quite a few Gooners and I could not find one of those guys that said to me, Robbie, I'm excited. Can't wait for Arteta to get in and, this is a new era. I'm excited. Not one person. I don't know if you guys are any different. I don't know if anybody around you is feeling like that. But I'm just being 100% honest when I say that I cannot find anybody who's excited about it right now. But it's looking at the moment like Arteta will become the manager. However, is the deal for Massimo Allegri dead? I was very interested to read what David Ornstein, the BBC journalist, was saying yesterday, that he thinks that Allegri is still in the mix, even though he feels that, yes, Arteta is definitely the favourite to take over. Allegri is still in the mix. And I think Juventus still got a game to play against Verona. I think that's either today or tomorrow. And it's going to become a lot clearer, I think, once that game's finished, what is happening with Allegri. Even though there's been things he said that, you know, I'm more than happy to stay at Juventus and that. He's not categorically come out and said, I am 100% staying. Now, to me, I'm sorry, as I said with this Arteta thing, it'd be easy to do Arteta. But if Arsenal are really ambitious and this board are really ambitious, and as I've said before, the shield has now been removed. That protective shield around them, which was Arsene Wenger, is gone now. And we are now looking into the dealings of this board. If they're ambitious, they should be going out and trying to get this guy, Massimo Allegri. He's a serial winner. 5 doubles in a row in Italy. This season, up against it, Napoli making a charge, he still managed to get Juventus over the line. I know Juventus are the biggest club in Italy, but he's worked miracles there. Before he came to Juventus, he'd won titles with AC Milan. The guy is a winner. And this is what we need right now. And apparently, what Allegri is, how this is kind of sitting at the moment. And listen, if Allegri decides to stay at Juventus, there's nothing Arsenal can do about it. As simple as that, right? They can make big moves to try and get him. Are they making big enough moves at the moment? I don't know, and I'll get to that. But if he decides that, you know what, I'm at Juventus, bigger club than Arsenal by miles at the moment. We're always in the Champions League. We're in it again. Arsenal in the Europa League. You know, I'm staying here. And it seems to hinge with Allegri saying to Juventus, I want a big budget next season because we win the league every year. We win the cup every year. But I want a challenge to win the Champions League. I want to win the Champions League. And for the last couple of seasons, Juventus, every time they've come up against the big boys from Spain, in Real Madrid, they've fallen short. And he's saying that, listen, I need that extra budget because the thing I want to win now is I want to win the Champions League. So apparently that's his demands on Juventus. Will Juventus give him that huge budget to do that, right? So Arsenal could tempt Allegri, but Allegri apparently is also saying to Arsenal, listen, if I come in here, I need a budget to overhaul this team, a big budget, not £50 million, a big budget to overhaul Arsenal, to make them challenge again to win the league. And apparently that's what he's saying. Apparently there's also rumours that Arsenal could have had Allegri last year, but they decided to, keep on with Arsene Wenger. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's another one of the rumours out there. But if it is a budget issue, Arsenal's board now have to break the bank and give this guy the money to rebuild a team to get us back to where we want to be, because the competition now in the Premier League is steep. We've seen City. We know Man United are going to spend big again. Chelsea will spend big. Tottenham will be spending. You know, even teams like Everton are talking about spending big. So he's correct. He's going to need a budget. And this rumour of £50 million that keeps going around as the Arsenal's budget, I find absolutely ridiculous. I was chatting to one of my friends last night when we was out, and he was saying, Robbie, what's happened to all the money that we've had in? And he was right. And I decided to, you know, have a little look into the ins and outs of Arsenal over the past season, because we have spent a lot of money as well. But when I looked at it, I was quite surprised, right? Like, looking at the ins, I'd have made a little list there. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, £58 million, roughly. These are approximate figures, yeah? Lacazette, £48 million. Mavropanos, £2 million. And then we've got Kolasinac in on a free from Schalke. That's £108 million, right? Spent. And again, when you compare that to some other clubs, that's nothing. But £108 million spent. What did we, though, receive, right, for the players that went out? Oxlade-Chamberlain, £34 million. Theo Walcott, remember him? £20 million. Olivier Giroud, £15 million. Francis Coquelin went, remember, £12 million. Wojciech Szczesny, remember, he was only on loan at Juventus. We sold him, £11 million. Gabriel Paulista, remember at the start of the season, defender. We sold him to Valencia, £10 million. And Kieran Gibbs to West Bromwich Albion, £7 million. That I work out at about £109 million. That means we would have made a profit of £1 million. We haven't lost any money. We've balanced the books. And then when you start to consider that we've taken massive wage earners off the bill as well, I mean, all of those players that I've just named out there, all of their wages have come off the wage bill. And of course, Alexis Sanchez, huge wages and potentially more bigger wages came off. Where is the money? Why have we only got £50 million? Why? Now, we've got to get, for me, we've got to be pushing the hardest we possibly can to get Allegri. If Allegri turns around and says, no, actually, Arsenal, I've decided to stay at Juventus, fair enough. Nothing the board can do about that. But if it's down to budget, they've got to give him the money that he needs to come in there and rebuild his club and get us back to being where we want to be. And then, of course, you could, you know, Arsenal could sell players. So, you know, I was looking at possible players they could sell. Ramsey's the obvious one, because Ramsey at the moment hasn't signed a new contract. So he's the obvious one that, you know, they could get a lot of money for. Petr Cech or Ospina, one of those two, or even both of them could go. Because we're looking at a new keeper. I'll go into that in a minute. Cech or Ospina, or even get a load of money for Cech, but Ospina, you're talking at least 10, 15 million, surely. Hector Bellerin is a player that possibly also could be looking to move on. Barcelona have been interested in the past. He'd generate a lot of money. Mustafi, who had a poor season, pay 35 million for him. I don't think we get that back, but he could be sold. Mustafi as well, Xhaka, that's another person as well that possibly we could think about moving on. I mean, we should be keeping a lot of these guys and building on top of it. But, you know, potentially for those guys, you could raise another £100 million. But for me, if Massimo Allegri is saying, I want a budget of, say, £150 million and I'll come to Arsenal, why are we not doing that? Why are we not making that happen? So I'm going to be really interested to see what happens over the next few days with the manager situation. And if Allegri doesn't come, the reasons why. Was it down to budget? Was it down to the fact that Arsenal have not backed him? I'm going to be really interested to see what the full reason is. Arsenal still being very heavily linked with Bernd Leno of Bayer Leverkusen. He's 26 years of age. I spoke about him a couple of days ago. The value is said to be about £25 million. Again, this is a Sven Mislintat type signing. He's a German player, really highly thought of over there in Germany. He had a good season. And of course, we're looking at a keeper. Petr Cech didn't have a great season last year. and Ospina doesn't seem to be the answer to our goalkeeping problems. And the way in which Arsenal are playing, or we're looking to play, is similar to Man City, where it's all about building from the back, passing it out from the back and building from there. And Petr Cech's distribution has not been good enough in that area. Listen, he's been a great keeper over the years, but he's starting to come towards the end. And again, Ospina, you know, how many times this season did we see him nearly get caught out when he was trying to pass the ball out from the back? And that, again, not the greatest. This guy, Leno, very good in that area of distribution, passing it out from the back, etc. Very good shot stopper. How would he deal with crosses and things like that? That's always a big one over here in this country. We'll have to wait and see. But certainly he looks like a player that we could definitely be moving for. Do not be surprised if Arsenal get this deal done for Leno and him coming in as the new keeper at Arsenal. Sven Mislintat was said to be really interested in Oblak from Atletico Madrid, but they're really put off by the enormous price that Atletico Madrid are demanding. If we've got 50 million quid to spend, there's absolutely no chance we could get somebody like Oblak. Another player from Bayer Leverkusen, interestingly, that Arsenal have been linked to is Leon Bailey. Now, the Leon Bailey, the very speedy winger who plays for Leverkusen, again, had a great season, Jamaican international. He could play for England as well if he wants. But he had a great season there for Leverkusen. He's actually in London yesterday, spotted over in London. Apparently going to visit a barber that he knows over here. But lots of clubs looking at Leon Bailey right now. All of the English clubs, Chelsea, Man United, they're interested in. Bayern Munich apparently want him as well. Real Madrid are interested in him. He's a really top player. We need a winger, and he would be perfect. Lots of assists and lots of goals last season as well for Leverkusen. But again, another hefty price tag. I mean, Leverkusen apparently saying they want £88 million for him, which they won't get. They won't get nothing near that. But if he does go, it would be about £50 million. And again, that would be our budget. Our budget's done. It can't be 50 million quid that Arsenal are going to be spending on players this summer. It cannot be. I'm hoping. Oh, Robbie, forget it, because you know what our board are like. We're going to find out a lot about the board this summer. There's no Wenger to protect them no more. We're going to find out a lot about this board. Listen, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think Arsenal should be looking to sign? Give us your little list of who do you think we should be signing. And also what I'm going to be doing from next week is we're going to open it up again where you guys can send videos in of exactly who you think Arsenal should be signing this summer. I really love to hear from you guys, so look out for that. I'll give you a link on that, and then next week you can start getting those videos in. Thanks for watching the show today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm about to go and watch, sit down, relax for the day, watch the royal wedding. I'll probably watch the FA Cup. All right, so thanks, and we'll be back tomorrow.